Once upon a time in a small, quiet town, there lived a boy named Daniel. On the outside, Daniel seemed like every other teenager. He went to school, played video games, and argued with his parents. But inside, he carried a weight that no one could see. He always felt like life was passing him by. Like everyone else had a purpose, everyone except him. Every morning, he woke up to the sound of the same alarm clock, dragged himself out of bed, and stared at his reflection, wondering if anything would ever change. His heart ached for adventure, for something more, for a sign that he was meant for greatness, even if no one else believed it. One day, Daniel missed the bus. It was a small thing, an accident really. But that single moment started something he couldn't have imagined. Instead of going back home, Daniel decided to walk to school. On the way, he saw an alley he had never noticed before. Something pulled him toward it. The alley wasn't dark or scary, in fact. It was filled with murals, paintings of far-off lands, forgotten cities, and mysterious creatures. At the very end of the alley was a strange old man painting a door onto the wall. It looked so real, Daniel felt he could walk right through it. "You see something you like?" the old man asked without turning around. Daniel hesitated. "What is this place?" The man smiled. "This is where stories begin." The man handed Daniel a small notebook. "Write your story," he said. "But be careful. What you write may come true." Daniel laughed. "Yeah, right." But that night, he opened the notebook, and for the first time in his life, he wrote without fear. He wrote about a boy who escaped his boring town, who found a hidden world, who became a hero. The next morning, the world had changed. His school was still there. His parents still argued, but something was different. The people on the street looked at him, like they knew something he didn't. The notebook pulsed with energy. He turned the page and found new words written in a hand that wasn't his own. "Go to the train station. Don't ask questions." He hesitated, but the feeling inside him, the ache for more, pushed him forward. He went. At the train station, an old conductor handed him a ticket without a word. The train wasn't going anywhere on the map. It simply said, "Destination, Destiny." He got on. Inside the train, he met others like him, people who had felt lost, who had waited for a sign, who had taken a step forward into the unknown. Each had a notebook. Each had a story. The train rumbled through worlds, cities made of glass, forests that whispered secrets, mountains that floated in the sky. And Daniel began to change. He learned to fight with truth, to see with clarity, to listen to the hearts of others. He helped a blind queen find her voice. He rescued a child made of starlight. He faced creatures born of fear and doubt, and with every challenge, he grew stronger. But the greatest challenge was still ahead. One night, the train stopped. A man boarded, not old, not young. He wore a black coat, and his eyes held shadows. He sat across from Daniel. "I've been reading your story," the man said. "You've come far. But do you really think you can change your fate?" Daniel swallowed. "Why not?" "Because fate isn't something you change," the man said. "It's something you accept." Daniel opened his notebook. "Then I choose to write a different ending." The man smiled, dark and cold. "Then we shall see." Suddenly, Daniel found himself back in his town. Same street, same school, same people. Was it all a dream? He opened the notebook, blank, no pulse, no magic. He felt hollow, alone. But then he saw something, a boy across the street, staring into the same alley. The murals were still there, the door was still painted. And the old man stood smiling. Daniel smiled too, because he understood now. The magic wasn't the notebook, it was him. The courage to write his story, to choose his path, that was the real power. From that day forward, Daniel never waited for signs again. He became the sign for others. He helped people find their own notebooks, their own alleys, their own doors. And even when life seemed normal, he knew the truth. Sometimes the smallest decisions lead to the biggest changes. Sometimes missing the bus can lead you to your destiny.